Hey, what's up? Today I'm stoked to talk if if it's not the best, one of the best list builders on the planet, it's Travis Speegle. Travis achieved what 99% of the peeps out here in the marketing world don't achieve, which means he's living down in Puerto Rico. I have the Caribbean as a background to honor him. Surfs whenever he wants, works whenever he wants, and where he wants. So, without further ado, Travis, thank you so much talking to me today.
Hey, Christian, super stoked to be here, man. What a nice intro. Hopefully I can live up to some of that and give you guys a little bit of love today. But yeah, man, I'm stoked to be here with you. Thanks.
Cool. So, so I could talk a little bit more about your background, but I don't want to take your thunder. Can you tell us in a couple of sentences or how long you want about how your background? I know you did like a million leads a month, worked for a $1 billion tech email company, and did things not comprehensible for most of normalos.
Yeah, well, I mean, really, all of this stuff kind of boils down to uh, just wanting to live like a really cool life. At the end of the day, that's been the goal for a long time, but I didn't know it. Like early on in life, I grew up with an entrepreneur father, and so I thought that the best way to go was to get a job because it's really hard to be an entrepreneur, and I got to see the struggle over and over and over. Um, and but while I was doing that, I also was exposed to a lot of psychology and like how people think, and I was really fortunate to see like early infomercials, and I loved it, man. I just loved the way that kind of direct sales model worked, whether it was in person at like a trade show or if it was actually on an infomercial. I just loved that sort of direct sales model. So that kind of stuck with me throughout time. Even though I went to school to be a pilot and had a background in fitness, and I had some good jobs and I did pretty well. Ultimately, like you said, I ended up working for an email infrastructure company through the dot-com boom of the late 90s and 2000. Uh, and so that gave
18
me,
at the time, probably.
yeah. Well, I was also very, very young. Don't tell anybody. Um, no, but it was a really exciting time. And it was also that time where I thought I was going to just make enough money to check out. And so that was
Mhm.
kind of the goal. And so I just chased it and chased it and chased it and almost made it, but not quite. And I ended up chasing it all the way back down until it was nothing. And so that led through like a long-winded process of just determining what was really important in life. And ultimately, I end up back at a place where lifestyle needs to come first. The question was, what would I do with myself if money was no object? What would be my dream? What would be my dream job? And I thought being a professional surfer would kind of be that thing because it would allow me to hang out with my wife all the time. I'd travel only to beautiful places. I'd be in the water a lot. I'd be super fit. I'd age well. Um, and you get to go surfing. So that's what we built all of this around. And through that, that sort of developed a story where that was the primary thing. And by being true to that, I was able to find partnerships that allowed me to do the things that I was good at in almost in sponsorship of my surfing lifestyle. So that's kind of how I got into online marketing as a whole, or especially, or into email specifically. But email came after I figured out how to do one, how to tell the story, what I really wanted for myself, two, how to do that for myself. And I did that through affiliate marketing and building lists. And then other people started asking me to do it for them. And that is what led to like a lot of the big numbers because I mean, at one point I just had a guy come to me and he said, "Hey, I want to spend $1 million a month on ads to get leads. Do you think you can do that?" I'm like, well, I've never done it before, but yeah, let's try it, find out.
Totally against me.
um, and uh, and yeah, the rest was history. I mean, basically, that's how we got started at high volume. We were doing things well. We had a long history in direct response, and then we took it to the places where there was the most leverage, and just figured out, kept doing it over and over. And really, it's all about just doing a couple of simple things really, really well.
And as I said, you're around the block for a little while. So you have
Yeah.
a record and success record, which is wowed me, and I'm not easy to wow.
Well, thanks, man. Yeah, it has been a little while. I mean, I did start my first like online business, uh, doing some consulting for small local businesses in 1996. So yeah, it's been a long run.
That's cool. That's cool. And especially a lot of times, especially these days, for a lot of marketers or online marketers or coaches, course creators, emails always sound a bit like that's old school. Like I go on Facebook or go dance on TikTok or whatever to doing all those, organic things, which are definitely not bad. I'm also doing a lot of people doing it. But if you do, if you trust your business solely to Mark Zuckerberg, you never know how he feels, or TikTok gets banned, million and one things. And when your business is like over now, what you own is your list.
Yes.
And
100%. And that's actually been one of the reasons that I finally taught this. And I really am all in on email is exactly because of that, because you can actually control it. And especially with organic social, you can do all the work and have the greatest following in the world. And then all of a sudden the algorithm just doesn't show you. And you don't necessarily know how to fix that.
mm,
Even with ads, and I've been a victim of this myself, where something can go wrong and one ad account can just get shut down. They can stop you from being able to reach your people anymore. So in some of those cases, if I hadn't had my own list, my business would have been dead because there was no way to continue, at least on that trajectory. So as far as getting your eggs out of a basket and into something you can control more, man, I can't see anything more important than having a one-on-one relationship with people. And the best way to do that at scale is email.
and this is what I like with emails is because it's one to many, but it feels like one to one because you can attract, if the email is written well, kind of feels like it's made for the future subscriber. It feels it's a very personal experience.
It is very personal, and it is actually, I look at it a little bit differently. It's not, to me, it's not a one to many platform. It's a one-to-one platform that's duplicated many, many times. So it's one-to-one relationships that you can have at scale, because it also takes a lot of the pressure off of delivering and of what you have to do. If I'm just sending an email to Christian, like, man, that's pretty easy. I know how I'm going to talk to you because we're friends.
Mhm.
And if I wanted to recommend something to you, I don't really have to take that super, super seriously. And you're going to know who I am on the other side because we have this relationship. And that's true with every single person that's on your list, is you have that one-on-one. You're in their inbox, they're the only person reading it, and I'm the only person sending it. So it's much, much different than putting out content on YouTube or TikTok or Facebook, because people do have, like, we know that every single person is having that exact same experience, and it kind of feels that way.
Especially from a feedback loop. I mean, if you put a Facebook post or Instagram, TikTok, it doesn't matter what the medium is. You reach a lot of people. I mean, you might reach a lot of people because you're at the destiny of Zuck or whoever owns TikTok at the moment and stuff. But if you want to respond, and when you go into DMs, you can go into Facebook jail, it's called. Or what I was also like is if you have some kind of more sensitive topics, people are opening much more if they are in a secured room, for lack of a better term. It's
Yes.
you and me. If we're writing to each other, there's not the rest of the planet on a publicly made post putting in
Yeah,
there. So the quality of responses, if you have a question in there to qualify them, it's probably much higher. Huh?
it's much, it's amazing how much different that is. And if you're willing to treat it like a real relationship, it becomes a real relationship. And in real interaction between two people, there's a lot more freedom. I mean, you can talk about anything in email because it's you and them. And the only relationship that breaks is with you. You don't necessarily get shut down for that or silenced because whoever is in power thinks that you're wrong. So it's yeah, it's a much better way to, it's just a much better way to control relationships. I'm not saying that they don't work together. There's a great way for both of those things to, all of these things to work together. But as far as running your business, I think this has to be a core piece.
Mm. Then the next thing is, I mean, we all, there's nothing wrong with ads. I mean, organic is cool and nothing wrong with that. But a lot of people, what I see is, and I'm guilty by myself. Like I probably did every mistake in the book, or I even created new ones, invented new ones if they weren't made yet. And one of this is like then in the beginning, building like complex funnel, like a funnel monster who eats up all your ad budget, but nothing's coming out of it. Just a big pile of, I'm not sure who's listened to it, Peaches are in big pile of shit. So
The
wiring.
funnel monster feeds on the big piles of shit.
So it also once and sometimes I see this when I scroll through. I just out of fun, I click on the ads and see what's coming next, and just the landing pages there. Sometimes pretty is very pretty background, similar like mine, information overflow, and we're gonna talk a little bit later how about best cases and how you do things. But
Yeah, it's
unfortunately,
well, and it's kind of think you're right. It is sort of like it's almost like the common wisdom these days is to create the funnel monster. You're only one funnel away, or uh, whatever guru of the week that you follow is going to tell you how the next best thing is going to get you sales and is going to change your whole life. I just believe that that is doing nothing but creating you more and more and more challenges because it just adds complexity. And I don't know about you, but I want the simplest path from where I am to where I want to go. And I think most people do too. So if we can give that to them, like, let's just do that.
uh,
Let's just crush that let's just crush that
uh,
monster
yeah.
altogether. And we don't need one, right?
No, no, the two of us maybe be the two prettiest guys at the prom, but the funnel is ugly as hell. Sometimes not only sex sells, ugly can sell, at the right place and
Hey
in
man,
at time.
there's no doubt about it. Um, ugly, ugly funnels, ugly pages, ugly email. I'm kind of a big, like, there's a big movement towards like really pretty like newsletters and email. And I don't know, from my experience, ugly still works. And not that words are ugly, but just simple,
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 exactly.
get to the
Exactly.
point, relationships, man.
And a lot of times, it's probably also when it's pretty and the newsletter, the email and whatever is pretty and pumped up is, and again, we already broke the PG-13 barrier. It's a lot of mental masturbation. People just think it has to be awesome and just want to celebrate themselves. But you take away, and this is what you do so well, Travis, is you take away the emails, or it's not like you and me talking casually. It's like some kind of a fancy marketing entity is pushing a message out and said, just chop it up, buy this iPhone
Yep.
on it. So one more reason, like ugly, not ugly, it's simple.
Just
Simple set.
just genuine, just be yourself. Like
Mhm.
that's the thing is nobody tells you that it's okay to just be yourself. And it's a hell of a lot easier to be yourself than to try to be somebody else. But man, there are a whole bunch of people that'll teach you that it's real hard to create this persona and this marketing machine, and you just get in the way of the relationship. Like you can't have,
Mhm.
I don't know, you can't really help people if you have to put them through a bunch of steps to get to know
Mhm.
you. At least that's, I mean, that's my opinion, and it seems to work.
It, that's what I'm saying. And it's like, I'm lucky I have one of the best builders on the planet here with me because we complain a lot and we said everything that's not working is there are ways to make it work. And if you want to let us in a little bit into your secrets, not too deep,
The
how 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 would when you start you are 20 years younger, just moving to the islands, and boy, I wanna surf. How would you start if you were a
If I,
youngster?
if I were starting
Not
right now,
youngster.
yeah,
Yeah.
man, I would, well, heck, the first thing I would do is I would figure out what I want out of life. Like that's the biggest thing. Like the secret to this is just figuring out who you want to be. What does this person look like and what does that life look like? And from there, start building backwards. Um, I don't believe like there's a lot of people that say you need all these complex ideas for picking out a niche and this and finding this thing that people are willing to pay for. I'll tell you what, anything that you're good at or that you can help somebody live a better life with, there is somebody in the world that will pay for it. So it almost doesn't matter what it is. It's just find a thing that you can do to help somebody and then go find somebody to help. And if I were starting from absolute scratch, which I did this at one point in my life only about 15 years ago, is found one thing I could do, found one person that needed the help, and I went and did it for them. I didn't ask for anything in return, nothing. I just went and did it. And you give that thing away so that you understand how valuable you are. And when you start to become more valuable, then you start to recognize you can do it more and more. And so after you've done that, then start going find other people that could possibly use that and put those people into your world. However you do that. If you have a little bit of money, I highly recommend using paid advertising because it moves fast. If not, find people. Like wherever they are, there are people that can use your help. Go find them, put them on a list, start interacting with them, have real relationships, and then sell them really good stuff. That's it. That's the whole model. Like that's where I would start. That's where I would finish.
Sounds awesome. Especially when you explain it, it sounds a little bit like Alex Hormozi copied his $100 million leads
I know
on
it's
proof of
pretty hard to
penetration
believe I've been
contest.
around so much longer than that guy. Otherwise, I'd feel like I stole all of his stuff, right?
And that, like, and I think this is also one of your secrets. This is why I was so intrigued. You have a capability, and you transport this in your emails, that you build instant trust. And at the end, we are all human beings. Like people buy with emotion and justify with logic. And I think that's something which is sometimes forgotten, that we only see the dollar, 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 and not the person. What I learned in when I watched my peeps, seeing the world out of our leads or our future customers' eyes changes a lot.
It changes almost everything. Um, there's and there's no secret. It's like people they want to learn like a formula to create instant trust. And I appreciate that. Thank you for that. I take that as a huge compliment because that's like the greatest thing I ever hear from somebody is, I don't know why, I just believe you. And there's a reason why. It's
Mhm.
because I'm just telling you the truth. And I care about people on the other side of every interaction. And I don't need anything from anybody. Is because I know I can go and do this again. So I don't need anything from you. I just genuinely want to help. And if I can, then I'm going to offer to. And money always comes out of that just fine without having to go try to get it. When people trust you, and the only reason people trust me is because I don't lie to them. And trust me, when I spent years and years figuring that out. That is 100% the secret sauce. The big secret to getting people to trust you is be trustworthy and just tell people the truth. If you tell them the entire truth, then then it doesn't matter whether they believe you or
Yeah,
not. It's still true.
still true. Yeah.
And I spent a good portion of my life learning, becoming a salesperson and being a salesperson. And there's a lot of that is tactic and technique and trying things and doing things that aren't necessarily on the up and up. And they always lead, like you may have a run of success for a while, but there's going to be a crash. And I'll tell you what, today I'm genuinely me. I show up as who I am. I tell you the truth. Like anything about me, you want to know, open book, man. I'll let you know. And from that, like, I don't know, it feels like, well, for lack of a better word, this is the ultimate fuck you position in life. Like,
Mhm.
nobody can take anything away from me, because this is like, I know that it's okay, and I will always be okay. And from that place, it's really easy for people to trust you. That's all the secret.
And part of the secret, thanks for the explanation, but is also in My Peeps 2.0. That's one, it's your signature course, probably it's a signature,
Mhm.
or the flagship courses. I went through and I was so a killer course, and I was so positively surprised, which also puts your credibility. It's like you are doing things live in the course, like you're running an ad or you're setting something up and say, I don't know if it's working. I think it's gonna work. And then you do everything live, and then the next week you show without any 100% that the truth what the output was, and it works. Like that's
It's
it
kind of
works.
scary. It's a little bit scary, but it's the truth.
But you have to, this shows only people who know their shit are willing to going full open kimono on live sessions and say, I'm gonna do this with you. I'm gonna show you what I'm doing. And then I'm not doing anything in between. Next week you're gonna see, and you're gonna see the result. A lot of gurus, a lot of people outside, you maybe see something, but it's always tested before, and then they show retrospectively. It's like this, what I did 4 weeks, and now it works. You do it the other way around. I'm starting today. I'm going to show you next week how it works. If you poop the bed or if it worked, then it works. Like,
It- I'm glad it worked. And it is, like, I'm really proud of the course because of that. I don't consider myself a teacher in any way, shape, or form. Like, this isn't what I set out to do. I set out to just go and live a life. And I feel like by doing that, generally, you affect people in a positive way. Um, but this course has been really exciting for me because my friend basically forced me to do it. And I thought, how would I want to learn? Like, what would I want to do? And in the meantime, it was all built off of other projects and things that I was doing. So I'm like, well, heck, let's just try something new and see if we can make it work. Um, and you'll find that as we continue in the other group, we'll probably do a bunch more of those, because I just like case. I love to try stuff, um, and so I'd love it if people that come into this community just challenge me with a new niche. Let's go find a different audience and see if we can find a way to speak to those and get to know some new people. I mean, to me, it's all fun, dude. Just follow the
mm.
fun, and it's probably going to work out.
And this is also this transports. Like people, if you live in a world of scarcity, in a world of Scrooge McDuck and me, and this is you write, you build your list, you doesn't matter if it's your list, your organic marketing, whatever, people smell this shit. If you're living in a world of openness, of like, I don't have anything to hide, I want the best, and typically if you want the best for people, it's also best for you. So it's a synergetic, I don't know if the English word is right, effect, which just amplifies on
Yep.
anything. I wanted to ask you what you think the main difference between, because there's so many list building courses out there, like 1,000,001 if you click look on it. But what makes U.0 different than most or than anything else? I think we touched base on on a lot of things, but
Yeah, I think you nailed a few of the things, but I think the biggest thing that's different about this course versus a lot of others. I mean, the first thing, of course, is like we're actually showing it real time. This is real stuff that's happening, and I have real experience. So it's pretty irrefutable whether or not this stuff works. Um, but beyond that, the biggest thing that's different is that we're really focused on using this as a foundation to build a life from and to build real relationships with people. This is about the humanity of marketing, not the tactics of marketing. And looking at all of this through the lens of the person on the other side that you can help. Because like you said, if you focus on that, as woo-woo as it sounds, to really focus on the abundance and how full the world is without scarcity and being willing to give a little bit more, it's amazing how that comes back. and it doesn't come back in a linear fashion or how you'd expect. It just always works out. And my life is 100% proof of that. And we have hundreds of people that have gone through stuff like this with us that have experienced the same thing. So the biggest thing is I think it's almost like a transformation of who you become, not necessarily just what you can do. And then the other big difference is we take all the crap out and simplify it down to just what's actually necessary. Like in order to get better, you only have to be able to do a few things really well. Like I think Bruce Lee was kind of like the master of one punch. Like if you do the one thing, master the one thing and do that really well, and you're going to beat the guy that has 10,000 techniques.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think we've narrowed it down to like the tightest pieces of the puzzle that will actually produce results.
And there is a common friend of us, Jim Nithwonga. I never can pronounce his last name, Nithwonga. Through him, I came into your universe. I got introduced to you. Is he made a 3-part course. It's like it's not being John Malkovich, but it's like how being Travis Speegle, how Travis thinks, and he's analyzing, knowing you and your course, how you think, what you do different for this all for the success you achieved. Should be, from my point of view, it's like a high ticket course alone. Like this is priceless blueprint to how Travis thinks, how he gets his success. And if anybody here of my listeners, if you made it until now, listen to the two of us, just reach out to me. I'm gonna give you a copy of it. It's for me, I still look at it and I printed out some of the charts because it's unique, different way how to look at things, how to look at the world, and then how to transport this in a business, which is hard to resist, not to, as in a personality, which is hard not to buy from. Like,
yeah,
and I bought stuff like right afterwards.
Jim is brilliant with that stuff, with the way he builds visual models. And I mean, I was quite honored that he like broke down the way that we think and the way that I was able to produce results from those couple of campaigns that he was exposed to. And yeah, I do think it's really cool. And it's really cool that you'll give that to your peeps,
Yeah.
man. I think it's quite a gift.
You rubbed off on me, Travis.
Right on. Well, hopefully it keeps. Hopefully this is all good and it's not. You don't need to wipe it off too much.
We didn't talk too much about the target audience. When you created My Peeps 2.0, who did you have in mind to have?
The biggest thing, or where I felt like there was a big sort of disconnect, was with coaches and creators primarily, and then like just small business entrepreneurs getting started. I think you can do this like from a very raw place, but like coaches, creators, solopreneurs, like people that are like small businesses that have something really great that are struggling with making sales or being marketers. Like, at least in my mind, like, or the people that I would run into over and over and over are people that have really good things to share and can help people, and they really love to help people, but they hate sales and marketing, and they feel like they have to be somebody else to do this kind of marketing thing, and that becomes like a secondary job to the thing that they want to do. And so really looking at this, that was what it was about. That's the problem I was trying to solve, is how can we take these people that don't want to be marketers, that are wasting their time and their energy trying to do things and be somebody that they're not, and give them a tool set that will make it simple for them to just be themselves and still make more and more sales and make their life a lot easier, because then they would have a better result. To me, that felt like the fastest way that I could create a bigger impact in the world, not through me, but through the people that could learn these things from me and then expose their best stuff to more people. Because the best thing you can do for somebody, if you have a really good product, the best thing you can do for them is to get them to interact with you and to buy your product. because then they're committed and then they'll get results. And
Love it.
so I think that's really where it came from. And that's kind of who the target market is.
Cool. So it actually, there are not a lot of people who are not a target market then. If you're
It's
kind of,
true. I mean,
and if you want to do something good while making money, I mean, that's for you.
yeah, it sounds a little hokey, doesn't it? But that's the other thing. Like, I mean, we talk about this even in the course. We talk about this in the course. Is most people will want to like niche way down, and that's fine. Like ultimately, I think it's great. You should be good at one thing and help people with specific stuff. But in terms of building an audience and bringing people into your world to have interaction with, like it's okay to make a big net and go bring a bunch of people in and then filter them from the inside. Like you're going to filter them through the relationship. Hey, we're having conversation, we're having interaction, and maybe we resonate, maybe we don't. That's okay. We don't have to have a relationship forever, but maybe I gave you just a little bit. And if you got one thing from me and I made just a tiny difference or made any impact, like, man, that feels successful. So, I don't know. I get excited, man. I'm sorry.
I mean,
Sorry
no,
to
no,
keep
no.
rambling on.
That shows your commitment, and this is Travis unfiltered. That's Travis raw. This is how he's in his course. That's how he's in the school group. This is just how he is. And this is why he did something great on top of Peeps 2.0, which is mainly focusing on opening the door, getting leads, engaged leads into your list. At a certain point, you say, oh shit, now I have like a list of 10,000 people, what I'm doing now. So this is why we're having in this combination, Travis Sago. A lot of Travises around in this. It's a good name.
It seems to work out all right.
So we have as a bonus on top, we call it Shogun bonus, which means Travis Sago put in his I can't say it anymore. Big ticket. Sorry, I was
Oh,
so I put in his big ticket email mojo program, which he sold for $6,000 alone. And this is like I also watched also before big ticket email mojo. This opens your mind. This is the perfect continuation from what Travis S. Is it always on Travis S. Travis Speed.
this is
And they are in your list and they trust you. Continuation with the teachings of Travis Sago with Big Ticket Email Mojo, with also giving it as in the Shogun bonus, there are a couple of campaign examples, how he made $250,000 with a few emails. Not even talking about you, I forgot this before. You made 47,000 leads in a week with 7-year-old content, something
we've
like that.
yeah, we've got some good sound bites for sure. Yeah, and I mean, with the same techniques, these are exactly, well, actually we dig deep into that campaign. That campaign's been working over and over and over for almost 8 years. And but I can't even begin to tell you how excited I am that Travis Sago threw in all these extra bonuses, because the people that come in on that, wow, you really have like full spectrum. Like we talk about building a list, and we have a number of traffic sources. We have really simple traffic sources. And then we talk about campaigns. And then Travis has added bonuses that tell you how to sell big ticket stuff through email, and really, really well, which does open your mind to a much different way to think. And then on top of that, he has some other traffic sources that are an extension or an evolution of what we teach in My Peeps 2.0. And then like even he breaks down an email campaign that's just incredible. That bonus right there, I think in the program, that's called the $250,000 Rainmaker campaign, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is an amazing, like that in its own right. I would still, I mean, and I've had the pleasure of working with Travis in a bit, and man, I'd still happily pay $2,500, $3,000 just for that Rainmaker campaign. And big ticket email mojo is mind blowing. So anyway, my course is good. I think his stuff just is amazing. It supercharges the whole thing, and it man, what an honor to even
Nice
have that
combination. It's a
part of it.
perfect combination, the two of you. Before, I already hear now half of the watchers or listeners saying, but I have to be techie. I don't know how to do tech. Can my grammar replicate the success, or could my grammar replicate what you do in Peeps 2.0?
Man, I sure think so. The truth of the matter is I looked at it from that perspective, because having been around online marketing now for a couple of decades, I know that most people that buy courses don't do anything. And to a great extent, that's because it's a little more complicated than they thought, or it's oversold, and the thing on the other side just isn't what they thought it was. So we broke this down into the lowest common denominator of everything. There are templates for everything. And while I'm not a big fan of templates. I want people to be themselves as much as possible. But in order to get started, we want the things that are like as fast and as quick as possible. There's even a way that we teach in the first module where you don't have to write an ad, and you can get away with. You probably need to be able to set up a Gmail account or have an email. You need to be able to
I
do
think
that.
the audience can
Yeah.
handle
You
creating
probably
as
handle that, and then there are very simple tools to build a landing page. But if you can get a landing page built, and you can figure out how to set up an email autoresponder, then you can do this. And it could absolutely that could absolutely be done on Fiverr for 5, 10,
Mm.
$15.
But also you provide a couple of templates in there, like super easy, ugly ones which sell like what we said before, they sell the best.
Yeah. Well, and I made templates for everything that we show in the course. Every one of those sample campaigns, you have cut and paste templates. And so I tried to make it as absolutely as brain dead simple as possible.
So, thank you so much. I don't want to use too much more of your time. I know you probably go surfing afterwards, but
Oh, there's not too much surf today.
okay. Then maybe the weather back here is nicer than it's down there. Just say for everyone's watching. No, I lost my train of thought. I think it's really, really worth it. It opened my eyes how to create lists, and also from an organic marketing perspective, what people always forget is you build up an ecosystem, and you can move people from your email list back onto Facebook. If you want to accelerate or enhance something, move them back into your email list, move them to YouTube, and so on and so on. So, but whatever happens, your email list belongs to you and no one else. And
That's
Travis, again,
great. Well said, man. Like you've got like there's nothing better than exactly that. You control a lot of stuff with an email list, and anything else that you're doing, it's just going to make it better. So I encourage everybody to build your list, build your life.
with this being said, catch you soon, Travis.
Hey, thanks, brother. It's good to see you.